Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Inspire with Fire, where we meet you at the intersection of life, faith, family, and business. I'm Krista Abbott, your host, and happy Tuesday. Welcome to day 2 of the week. I hope you guys are doing well. Who we got in the house this morning? Y'all rolling on up in here early. Good morning, Miss Jillian, my sister. How are you doing today? Good to see you in the house, as always. Good morning, Miss Linda. Good to see you today. Hey, Tanya. Happy Tuesday morning to you, too. Great to see you this morning. Good morning, Miss Ruthie. What's up? Hey, Lindsay. Good to see you in the house. What's up, girl? Oh, Miss Jillian giving everybody some loves in the comments there. I love it. I love it. Hey, Melody. What's up? Melody's in the house. Melody's in the house. Melody. Your name makes me want to sing a melody. I hope you guys are doing well this morning. It is a Tuesday. Woo! Y'all made it through Monday. Woohoo! Give yourselves a hand. Yes! We made it through Monday and we are on our way to the weekend. One day closer. Somebody say one day closer to Friday. Our favorite day of the week. Hey, Lori, what's up, Lori? Lori's in the house already giving me some fire. Give me some fire, love. Show me some loves. That's how y'all show me the loves right there with the fire and hearts. Fire and hearts. All right. Well, what are we going to talk about today? How y'all doing? How's your mama and them? Everybody okay? All right, what do we got today? Let's hop on into our inspiration. But before we do, we got to have a little cameo. Hope you guys are doing all right. Hey, there's me some loves and fires coming in. I see them. I see them. I see them. Throw me up some more loves and fires, even some 100s. I like the 100s. There's my sister giving me some fire love. Give me some fire love. All right, let's hop on into our inspiration for today. We going back to John 15. We hanging out in John 15. All right, so next up we have verses 12 and 13. Somebody say 12 and 13. We're in the adolescence of John 15 right now. And Jesus says this, "So this is my command. Love each other deeply, as much as I have loved you. For the greatest love of all is a love that sacrifices all. And this great love is demonstrated when a person sacrifices his life for his friends." One more time, I'm going to read it. "So this is my command. Love each other deeply, as much as I have loved you. For the greatest love of all is a love that sacrifices all. And this great love is demonstrated when a person sacrifices his life for his friends." Now let's look at the context of this. Remember, this is the last great speech that Jesus is given to his followers right before he goes to the cross and dies. So framing that with this statement, we can then say that Jesus, one of the things he's doing with this couple of sentences here is that he's affirming his love to the disciples and for all people, really, because he's saying, hey, I want you guys to love each other as much as I've loved you. And hey, I loved you so much that I'm sacrificing it all because I'm about to go and die on the cross, and you guys are going to see that here in a little bit. So this is the greatest love that can ever be demonstrated, is when someone lays down his life or sacrifices his life for his friends. So he's basically saying, I'm making this sacrifice because of my great love for you. But let's not stop there. He's also encouraging them to love each other to this same degree, to love each other, and giving them that life lesson of what real real godly level, Jesus level, Jesus level love. Somebody say, give us some Jesus level love. That what that Jesus level love really looks like, and what that loving deeply really looks like. So how does that mean that we have to go and die for everybody? Well, no. If we all died for everybody, wouldn't nobody be here to love each other? So, and to love the people who need it. So, what does it mean in context for us? Now, are there times where someone lays down their life physically and actually dies for the sake of someone else? Sure, that happens often, but that's not the daily walk of love. You're talking your think about your guys in the military who go and sacrifice their life for the safety and freedom of the people who live in their respective country. So when you think of the parent who lays down their hopes and their dreams and their ambitions so that their spouse can pursue theirs for a season. I've seen that happen in lots of friends and their marriages where one spouse wants to go back to school, so the other makes the sacrifice to work a little more so that they can go back to school. And then when this one finishes school and gets in their new career, now this one gets to pursue. So it's that give and take, that sacrificial relationship where love is willing to say, hey, I'm going to put your needs above my own needs for a season, or I'm going to put your needs above my needs in this moment, and to make that sacrifice so that that other person can have what they need. So that's the kind of sacrifice that a lot of people think about with this. But what does it really mean for us in the context of what Jesus is saying here? So it can mean a couple of things like this. It can mean that we just give up some of the things that we want to do, that we give of ourselves to others. That now many think, like I said earlier, that this means we have to physically die like Jesus did, but it's more of a metaphorical laying down. It's more of a metaphorical sacrifice your life. And it's that daily sacrifice for the greater love. So the daily sacrifice for the greater love cause that really matters. So how do you give yourself? How can you make those sacrifices? It can be done in things like prayer, in time and resources, love and understanding, and then just placing the needs of that other person above or as priority of yourself. So is it intended and available for everyone? Yes, of course it is. People need to experience the love of God. Somebody say, people need love. We got love, love, love. We got love. So people need to experience that love of God. And then in many cases, it's your prayer, it's your love, it's your time, it's your energy, it's the effort that you're putting into the relationship that you have with that person, that it could be the only contact with God and the only example of his love that they have in their lives at the moment. So your demonstration of love then becomes a reflection of God for them, and that demonstration of giving of yourself may be the only encounter. Come on. It may be the only encounter with God-like love and concern that they are experiencing at that moment in their lives. And in some cases, it may be the only experience that they've had with God. So what is the ultimate love then? The ultimate love is where Jesus, he showed us that ultimate love when he gave of himself fully, right? So that's the ultimate, but he gave up his life so that we could even have a gospel to share. Like, think about if Jesus had not done that, there would be no message of hope. There would be no gospel, good news to share with other people about God and his love if we didn't have that example of what Jesus did. So for us, it's not a death in the natural, but more of a death to our own desires so that God's will may be fulfilled. So think of all the small sacrifices you make, even for the people in your life that you love and care about. Think about the sacrifices you may have made in your life for your kids. Think about the sacrifices that you may have made or may be currently making in your life for your grandkids, for your spouse, for your friends even, for family or for choice family. Y'all know what choice family is? That's a family you get to pick. I like the choice family. I like picking my family. I love my natural family too. They are some fascinating individuals and I love them. But I also love picking my family, your family, choice family. So, thinking about all of that and the sacrifices that you've made, that where you've kind of gone the extra mile or given something up that you wanted so that someone else could have what they wanted. Those are the kinds of sacrifices that we see happen most often in that friend and family dynamic. Oswald Chambers. Any of you guys ever heard of Oswald Chambers? Give me some fire in the comments or something if you've heard of this guy. He's pretty famous devotional writer, but he's kind of a little bit old school. So I don't know. I mean, he's like old school devotions. These are new school devotions that you get right here. It is a new school. Somebody say, new school has squirrels that you can chase and videos. And silliness. But Oswald Chambers, he was a famous devotional writer, and he said something about this particular scripture that I read, and he said that salvation is easy for us because it costs God a lot. So God made the sacrifice of his son so that we could have salvation, but it made it easy for us. So it's that sacrifice that we make that makes something easy for another person. When you reframe that, okay, so when you reframe salvation is easy for us because it costs God so much, what are we doing in our lives through love to make things easy for another person? But it really is costing us something. It's costing us time, energy, resources, effort. What is that sacrifice that we're making in our lives so that another person can have what it is that they need in their life? So the carrying out or the demonstrating of the salvation then that we received easily, because all you have to do is receive it, right? Dear Jesus, I accept you into my heart. It's how you receive salvation. Forgive me for my sins. It's really easy. It's just a prayer and belief. That's all it takes. So the carrying out or our demonstrating of that salvation in our own life is a little bit more difficult, though. Why is that? Because he's saying that Oswald Chambers then here is saying that it's easy to accept Christ and become a Christian, but what makes it more difficult is the daily walking out of that gift, the daily walking out of that salvation gift that we receive through that sacrifice. So truly living out the love of God in a world that sometimes discourages love. I mean, for real though, doesn't it? Sometimes the world around us discourages love, and that makes it more challenging. So this then is laying down your life. It is laying down your life is that you truly love and demonstrate God's love to other people around you, and that you remain faithful to the message of God. Okay? So, and that you sacrifice your own desires to fulfill the will of God. Somebody say sacrifice your own desires to fulfill the will of God. So it really is about finding God's will and then moving toward that no matter what the cost might be. So love's not a feeling. Have you guys heard this before? Love's not a feeling, it's a choice. And in this case, a responsibility even. So it's a choice to put what is best for others ahead of what is best for yourself. Think about Jesus. He didn't just lay down his life when he went to the cross. He spent a lifetime laying down his life. Like, think about it for a minute. He was in the temple at 12 years old teaching, and to the point that Mary and Joseph lost him. And they came looking for him, and they were like, "What are you doing, Jesus? Oh my God, we've been so worried about you. We've been looking all over the place. What are you doing?" And he's like, "Didn't you know I'd be about my Father's business?" Now, the fact that he says that at 12 years old, think about the 12-year-old boys in your life. How many of them are hanging out at the temple teaching people? He was about his Father's business even from an early age. So he was very early in his life already focused on the sacrifice. He could have chilled. He could have spent his little boy years like, Earth is kind of a cool place to hang out. There's a lot of fun people here. I think I'm going to go play with the camels with my buddies. We're going to go ride donkeys today. I mean, he could have, we're going to go swim in the river, whatever. He could have been finding a lot of other fun things to do with his friends than hanging out at the temple and teaching. And even to the point that he forgot the caravan. The caravan left town and they were already on their way traveling to the next place, and Jesus is still hanging out at the temple in the town they just left. Come on, that's not a normal 12-year-old. So already in his life, he was developing at an early age of laying down. He was already creating that habit of sacrifice, that habit of laying down his own desires to pursue his Father's will. And that apparently was the norm for him to respond to his parents and say, "Didn't you know I'd be about my Father's business?" Like, hello, we've been over this before. Like that couldn't have been the first time for him to respond that way. He's like, you should have known. Like, this is me. You should have known. This is where I'd be. What would make them think, and what would make them know, or why would he say, like, you should have known, which is essentially what he was saying, like, didn't you know? Why would he say you should have known if that wasn't the norm for him? You see what I'm saying? Like, when you really look deeply into some of these common things we just read over as we're reading through the Bible, you start to go, why did he say that? Why did he say it that way? Because that must have been a habit. It must have been a habit. So he was pursuing his Father's will and purpose, and the purpose that he was on the earth for, from the time he was old enough to do it, from the time he was old enough to do so and understand it. So he wasn't out there living it up and playing with the other 12-year-old boys. He wasn't, if we're in modern times, he wasn't sitting there playing the video games. He wasn't worried about Fortnite. But he was out there, and he decided to hang back and not follow his parents and the rest of the caravan who was leaving town. And he decided to make a sacrifice. He didn't hang out to go to the movies, to go watch the Romans fight each other in the Colosseum. No, he went and taught in the temple. Come on. 12 years old. What 12-year-old does that? When they found him, didn't you know I would be about my Father's business? So I have to think that he had done this a time or two before. So even in his youth, he stood out as one who was surrendering his own desires to pursue the will and the plan of God. So this leads us then to ask ourselves some important questions. Somebody say we're going to ask some important questions. Y'all ready? You ready for some important questions? It feels kind of good. Y'all ever sleep kind of wrong and you just want to, with your neck? That's kind of how I feel today. Where's my coffee? I don't have any yet. Can y'all tell I hadn't had coffee yet? So what is God's purpose or plan for our lives? These are some questions we have to ask. What are we pursuing daily? Okay, so Jesus was pursuing God's will daily. That was his sacrifice. That's laying down your life is pursuing God's will daily. What are we sacrificing in order to pursue it? Are we sacrificing time? Are we sacrificing sleep? Are we sacrificing energy that we could be putting somewhere else that's more fun and enjoyable for us? Or are we putting that energy and effort toward the pursuit of God's purpose for our lives? And you kind of got to understand what that purpose is first, right? So that's a conversation for another day. But what are we doing? What are we sacrificing even to pursue the purpose? To say, okay, maybe I don't fully know what my purpose is. So what are we sacrificing to pursue that and find out? That could be a question to reframe it if you aren't sure. What does laying down your life look like in that situation? What does it look like to lay down your life to pursue that thing that is in your heart, that thing that you were created to do, that thing that you were sent to the planet to do, that thing that God has put inside of your heart to achieve in this season? So how are we being faithful to that calling? How are we being faithful to that assignment? This is laying down our life. It's being about the Father's business. Have y'all ever heard it put that way? Probably not. But that's what it is. Because what is the Father's business? The Father's business is other people. The Father's business is love. The Father's business is showing and demonstrating and loving, just walking in love, loving everyone around you, honoring God's plan with love. That's the purpose. That's the Father's business. So we honor God and we honor His purpose when we ask those questions of ourselves, and when we find the answers, and then we begin to pursue His purpose above our own desires. Love first. Love first. That's the purpose of God. So somebody write that down. That's a writer downer. Love first. That's the purpose of God. So if you pursue love first, then laying down of your life will be just a byproduct of that, right? It's not something you have to consciously be like, am I laying down my life today? Am I sacrificing enough? No, it's just when you walk in love, it naturally occurs because you're demonstrating that deep love. So all you have to focus on, I'm going to make it real easy. Real easy. Real easy. All you have to focus on is love. Love's going to cost you something usually, but not loving will cost you even more. Somebody write that down. Love may cost something, but not loving costs more. And it doesn't have to be a huge sacrifice. Sometimes it's that smallest sacrifice that makes the biggest difference. Think about a child, for example. If a child approaches you and maybe you're baking cookies, okay, and you're in a hurry to bake those cookies because you got to get somewhere and be somewhere, but that child comes and wants to help. Are you going to turn that child away? Baby, I don't have time for that right now. We got to hurry. Or are you going to take the extra 5 minutes and let them put the cookies in the oven? Let them pat out some cookies on the pan. That's love. That's making a sacrifice. That's demonstrating and walking in love, is saying putting my own needs to be in a hurry aside so that someone else can feel special, so that someone else can feel important, so that someone else can feel loved. Sometimes it's the smallest sacrifice that makes the biggest difference. So where are we walking in love today? Where are we pursuing God's purpose of love? Of showing that love to other people? That's what we have to think about today. So let's anchor it. Let's anchor it. Are y'all ready to anchor it? Ooh, I got some fire from Tanya. Melody says she loves her choice family. I know, right? They the fun ones. Susan, thank you, Susan, for all of the comment loves and all the note taking that you do. Linda says she's ready. Linda says, I'm ready. Love first. Love cost us something, and not loving cost us more. I'm going to leave that one up as we go into our prayer to anchor this today. So, Woo, let's see. How can we do this? Dear Jesus, thank you for the ultimate sacrifice that you made by surrendering your life that we could have salvation and relationship with God. Lord, teach us and show us how to love others with the same love that you show us. Help us to see and know what it means to follow and pursue God's purposes in our own life, and to help us demonstrate God's love to others when we make the small sacrifices that can mean so much to another person. Lord, help us recognize these opportunities to show your love to someone else, and help us to embrace these opportunities, and remember that love may often cost us something, whether it's time, energy, or focus, but that sacrifice is really an investment into the eternal realms and into the hearts and the souls and the eternal nature of the people around us. In Jesus' name, amen. Y'all ready to decree it? Let's decree it. I'm going to bring it up. We're going to read it 2 times like we always do. Here we go. I decree that I love deeply as Christ loved me, with a love that sacrifices and surrenders its own desires for the greater good of another. I honor God's purpose and plan when I pursue it with love and share it with others. One more time. I decree that I love deeply as Christ loved me, with a love that sacrifices and surrenders its own desires for the greater good of another. I honor God's purpose and plan when I pursue it with love and share it with others. And for some reason, as I was reading that decree, I felt that we should read the verse again. Y'all know I never do this. But here we go. Let's look at it one more time before we close out today. And we're just going to leave it with this verse. So this is my command: love each other deeply as much as I have loved you. For the greatest love of all is a love that sacrifices all. And this great love is demonstrated when a person sacrifices his life for his friends. And the word friends there, it means, family too. Family's included. So a person who sacrifices his life for those who are close to him, okay, or her. So we're going to leave it with that today. You guys are giving some loves in the comments. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. Some amens to the amens to the amens. Oh, yes, Lori. We loves you. We loves you, Lori. Yes. So thankful for you all. Linda's saying yes, yes. All right, my friends. I love you. I love you all. And y'all know some mornings it is a sacrifice to get up. It is a sacrifice not to hit the snooze button. So y'all know I love y'all because I show up here every day. I'm not saying that to make you feel like you owe me something. You don't. But anyway, I love you guys, and it's been a fabulous morning. We'll see what God has for us to talk about tomorrow. Don't forget, inspirewithfire.tv if you want to check the archives and see any of the other stuff. I'll update you guys as we go in the next few days, over the next week or so, with our shift and transition over to a private group and off of the public page here, so that we can be, more of a community type setting. And so we'll get all of that information ironed out and squared away over the next week or so. I'm not in a big hurry to do it. It's just where we're headed, and where we're going to end up, probably sometime in the next few weeks. But don't forget to like, comment, follow, subscribe, and share. Invite someone. Let them know how much fun we all have here every morning, drinking our coffee and wearing our lipstick. I do have some on today. It's just a real light color. See, it is a little shiny. But we wear lipstick and drink coffee. That's what we do. And we get inspired. We inspire each other. So you guys truly inspire me. I love you. Oh, look, y'all are giving me some loves. Thank you. Oh, yes, have a beautiful day. You're welcome. It is my pleasure, Susan. It is my pleasure. I love it. I enjoy it. All right. So, love you too, Ruthie. Well, you guys have a fabulous day. If you would like to make a donation, those are welcome. You can just go over to kristaabbott.com/give, or Cash App is $ Dr. Krista, and you can do that. For those of you who have given in 2020, you should be over the next few days receiving your letters, that your tax receipt letters for those donations. So keep an eye out for those. If you don't get it within the next week, let me know, because they were mailed out yesterday. So hope you guys have a fabulous day. And we will see you tomorrow at 8:08 a.m. Eastern Time. Have a fabulous day. Woo woo. Here we go.